over a minute.
Okay, but less than 5?
Yeah.
So it may have actually been exactly while I was taking a shit. I just come back on deck like doing the rose up going, sorry guys.
Meanwhile, I'm like...
I couldn't pinch it off, it was a serious one.
I look nearly as bad as when you stuck an arrow in my neck.
I am a writing wizard.
Alright, I've apparently got 2 people on the channel. I don't know if it's probably Ash or anyone like that.
When it comes up, you get announcements as it's when it goes live.
Yeah, that's true, you do. Welcome to the Salty Dragon Tavern. Pull up a chair, grab a drink, and watch and listen to us play some Dungeons & Dragons in Althea. I've replaced 2 of the microphones with other microphones. I'm hoping the audio is a bit better from it. If you're watching this and the audio is still being a bit weird, can you please send a message through the chat channel, and I will endeavour to fix it as much as I can.
Sound off. One.
Mainly because PAX this weekend, and a lot of people have arrived late, and some people who said they were going to be here still haven't arrived. That's why there is this big blank space of people in the top panel. Because they will be arriving at some point in time from PAX after they've either helped out or done their order for work, because they forgot all about it. Disgraceful. And you know what? I actually forgot light. Got that light up. I didn't put the other lights on.
How do we turn the other lights on?
By just standing up and switching them on.
Oh, cool! We've got lights on now.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Aziz.
Yes, and yeah, major dramas with me not having power for a while. Anyway.
Yeah. That was concerning.
It was concerning.
I'm
For
glad it got sorted.
Alright. It is, if I'm not mistaken, 4 days for when ticket sales will go online for Quest.
Woo!
Yeah.
Woo!
Ow.
Not for Quest.
Ow!
For Blood and Gold.
Oh, for Blood and Gold.
And there is also a handy dandy competition.
Yes, there is a handy dandy competition.
Hello.
So if you're on Facebook and you go to the Soulcraft page, there is a post about putting your kit pitch up. And if you put your picture up with your kit in, your current kit or one of your kits, then you may get randomly selected or judged, I'm not sure what their criteria is, and get a free ticket to go to Quest next Quest. Go to Blood and Gold.
I think there's also the requirement to have some form of concession for those sorts of free tickets.
Yes, you need a reason. So,
Low income, pension.
Student.
Oh, okay.
broken leg.
Broken.
Anything which will serve you for an X Factor backstory would be fine.
Yep. Cut off a couple of fingers and you'll get one.
Salty Dragon Tavern does not endorse the cutting off of digital fingers.
We don't.
At all.
I mean, you're clearly already in character. Not bad.
One day I'll play a character that's a lawyer.
Oh,
shit.
no.
Alright. I've been having a talk with other people about doing some more of the chats. I'm going to do them on Tuesdays. And I'm hopefully got the first set coming up very soon. And I'll be starting on the 20th of November with the next set of chats. So on the 20th of November, I'm going to have a few people come around and we're going to talk Warhammer.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
At this stage, I'm planning to be one of them.
Yes,
I'm
you are.
really out of the loop.
A lot of people are out of the loop, so I figured that's like off the rank, especially this early in the game. It's probably a very good one to actually start off with,
Yeah.
to get back into the swing of things.
I might come and hide behind the camera and just watch.
Oh, by all means, I have no problem if
It's
you want
almost
to rock
if
up.
there was like some way to watch from a remote location through the means of digital transmission.
That would be really convenient.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, whenever I try and stream shit, it just doesn't work for me.
Well, that's because Australia has trash internet.
Yeah, it's
it
probably
does.
the case.
It does.
Thanks, Obama.
All right.
Coolest sitting president ever.
Is there anything else I've forgotten that I need to go into?
Gala tickets for the charity sort of Gala.
still available, I believe.
I believe they are.
That is on the 10th. It has included basic drinks in the ticket price, which is something that I think some people may not be aware of.
Wow, Mick, that sounds amazing. What do the proceeds go to?
A charity!
Oh.
I'm not actually on the organising committee.
Wow, that's a really good pitch for it, isn't
Well,
it?
it just so happens that the event has been sponsored by many other people, including my workplace games laboratory.
Wow, that sounds cool
They
as.
put some games into the silent auction.
Nice. Very
And
cool.
there's also the professional hobbyist, wherever they may be,
Oh, sure.
has donated some training time for anyone who wins that prize.
Oh, nice. Very cool. All right.
Awesome.
If there's nothing else, let's get into it. Welcome to Sunday nights. Last week, without a break, we had a large combat with the weird entities that have been coming from the clouds. A storm brewed. Team and the ship entered the eye of the storm, and inside that eye of the storm they were attacked by a set of people who they were unsure of who they were. Barbarians and sorcerers teleported across to the ship itself, and the barbarians laid waste to as much as they could before they had their final curtain. Amir was busy taking a shit. And it was a real hangout, and that's why he was not there for the combat.
Just couldn't pinch it off.
Well, I got strength 6. Some muscles are weak.
Yep, eventually just cutting it off with a dagger.
Last week we finished off at the end of the combat, and we basically just finished off the session then. So essentially what's happened is that the storm passed very quickly, and the storm moved on.
So,
And that is where the party is now.
are we still wounded?
Yes, you are still wounded, yes.
Right, I'm on death's door. Gotta be honest with you.
Okay, I think I was still concentrating on healing spirit
Yes, you were
spell.
concentrating on healing spirit, yes.
I've got like 30 more seconds. So anybody who is literally bleeding out and dying get first priority.
You can bounce it between people.
Yeah, you bounce it through a few people and manage to sort of not make anyone die or anything.
Yeah.
Precarious like that.
That's alright, we saved the first mate and the captain. Good job, me.
Did you accidentally get that American guy to die?
He stayed behind below death.
Yeah, cowering like a baby.
Unless he was one of the undead soldiers on
That
top.
might be a bit loud for the...
For you guys, it might be a bit loud, but for the stream, no, it's fine.
Okay, because it seems to be about the same volume as our speaking volume.
That's good.
I've turned it down for you guys.
It's fine.
Oh, that's really good.
If it's a problem, they'll tell us.
We can project our voice and enunciate clearly.
I actually wanted to make it really loud when we had the storm fighting, so you guys actually had to, so it sounded like you were in a storm.
I punch him in the face!
What?
Alright, yes, you guys heal yourselves up, not too full or anything like that, but you heal yourselves up enough that you don't suffer from death or anything like that. A lot of you are quite groggy, badly bruised, wounded.
And that's just from Mia taking it.
And that was just from Mia taking a shit.
Cool.
My eternal apologies. What happened? I heard screaming, but I was unable to attend.
He's riding.
Yes.
I'm just gonna go kill shit.
That would explain the bodies. Who are they?
You tell me.
What do they look like? Do they have
They look like nondescript barbarians. They've got scarring across their body. The two-handed swords that we're wielding are all shaped in lightning bolts,
Okay.
which everyone found quite interesting.
Yep.
You find scarring on their bodies now that they've stopped and they're on the ground and people are exploring on them. There's actually like lightning bolt scarring on their bodies and stuff.
Would history help me to perhaps?
It would. History would help you.
I get to try out my new dice.
Would looting help me loot?
Yeah, but your looting would help you loot, yes.
Can I loot?
You can lose.
So I'm just gonna pillage
So-
everything.
They
Who wants to
basically
place bet on what the very first roll ever of this D20 is going to have?
Natural one.
Natural one?
Natural one.
5. I reckon 7.
It's like that number that's like kind of high, but not quite high enough.
Ah, like an 11.
Yeah.
Those were really nice.
4.
We all lose.
I was closest.
Plus 4 is 8. These were like $3 off eBay.
Ah. Look really good and cheap.
Yeah.
The only thing you can manage to sort of get from your history is that this is a group of people from
Okay, so they're all human?
yes.
Okay.
From the bodies that you have, the 3 barbarians are human. You never really got a chance to see the main guy at all, and you only saw the sorcerers very briefly.
But they were still humanoid.
Because you weren't there, but they were humanoid.
Yeah.
It's potentially, I think one of them might have been a half elf or an elf, something like that, with the telltale point of ears.
Is it insight investigation to look at their scarring and see what it might have been caused by?
Yeah, go for it.
Which one?
Investigate.
No, 7. No, 8.
It's pretty obvious that the scarring's basically has been done on purpose to be done in that particular shape. So obviously they've just got
Tattoos.
kind of like tattoos. Yeah.
Scarification.
It's hard to tell whether it was just like that someone's just gone and done zigzags in there, or they've actually got a branding eye, and that's what.
Can I swing one of the great swords?
You definitely can swing one of those great swords. You, with your strength of 7,
No, I'm the
No, mine 14.
with your dump stat.
My dump stat was charisma.
Ah,
My
there you go.
charisma's 7.
Oh, well, in that case, then you're 14 with your strength. You managed to pick it up with, you swing it around. It's not too bad. It's pretty good. It's
No crackling
well-weighted.
energy or anything?
No, no crackling in it.
Alright, it's useless to me. I throw it on the ground.
You're probably also not proficient in it.
I can
It's
still
martial
pick it
weapon.
up
Yeah,
and
yeah.
swing it.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, if that's the case, I'd make sure I'm not standing near you. Just backswing. Come on, everyone's been next to someone with a two-handed sword who doesn't really know what they're doing.
Yes.
I'm going to start rummaging through pockets, bags, anything they have on them.
Basically, because the only bodies that basically managed to stick around with the 3 barbarians, and they were basically travelling light for this combat.
Yeah.
So all they've got is a loincloth, nothing else, and these giant lightning bolt-looking 2-headed swords.
Did you hear them say anything?
Screaming.
Yeah, lots of
Wait, no.
screaming.
So there was there accent? Was there anything to the words that was said?
Yeah, there's a lot of screaming, a lot of yelling and whatnot. I'll let you do a perception check, Isaac, to try and remember what you may land on her when you're in the combat.
High. Not
Over
not
20.
that, but
Over 20.
well over
That
20.
was a natural 20.
There you go.
So
Yeah,
27.
22.
There was a mixture of, they were very rough. One sounded like he was a bit English. The other one probably had a slight Russian accent. Didn't point out to be any particular group from any particular region. Some from a few different regions.
Is their clothing interesting? In any
It
way?
is very basic. It's very, very basic.
Armor, anything like that?
They have no armor. They're barbarians.
So, a loincloth.
A loincloth, and that's basically it. And you see that their bodies are quite scarred, quite profusely. Like they'll have across their cheeks, they've got the zigzags of the lightning across their face. And you'll see like along their back, they've got like rows of 3 going into a point into the center of the back.
Yep.
Stuff like that, down their legs and whatnot. They're obviously doing this to actually show off the fact that they've got this scarring. And from what you can gather, it looks like it's to their god, whoever that happens to be.
Curious. We saw them fight. When they were wielding these swords, did the bolts of lightning that accompanied their swings look like it was coming from them? Like from them through the weapon or from the weapon?
With the good perception that you had, you're recollecting your thoughts and you realise that it travelled down their arms, sometimes through the sword, or sometimes they were even able just to direct it at a particular point.
Right.
So if they were targeting, say, the person who they were attacking, they would just do it through their swords. Every once in a while, you notice that they did target someone independently of the person that they were attacking, and it just bolted them straight off the bat.
So, if I take an insight check on the sword, 12 plus 6.
Yep.
Relatively mundane weapon.
Relatively mundane weapon.
Just interesting shape.
Just interesting shape.
You could still flog it for some money, just for the fact that it's such a novelty.
And too much weight.
We're on a
Dragon
ship,
Ball
we do not have to
one.
carry it far.
Yeah. Let's just leave it for the moment.
Write it down if you want to.
Out of interest, I'll try to use my hexblade summon weapon to make a two-handed sword that makes that same shape, just to sort of compare, so I can do it later if need be.
Yep, you can do that. Okay. You summon another two-handed sword that looks exactly like the swords that are on the ground.
I'm going to start dragging the body to throw over the side.
Alright, you start doing that. A couple of the sailors also come and start helping you out now because you know you've done your investigations.
Oh, if they're doing that, I'll shake off the wild shape.
Yep.
Turn back into an elf, and I believe there were like thunder imps that attacked initially as well.
There are definitely other imp bodies here.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Have a look over there.
I didn't even think about that.
Well, if nothing else, for the sake of being academic or just curious, I'll scoop up some of their ichor.
Yep.
Because that's occasionally useful.
Occasionally useful, yes.
I'm just going to walk up to you while you're doing that and go, what's that?
Smell it.
I smell it. What's
That
it smell
would be
like?
imp juice.
It smells like blood.
Does it though?
Blood and sulfur.
If I recall correctly, demon ichor is black and nasty.
Oh, okay.
Like it's nasty.
Alright, it smells really fucking nasty.
I just like I'm just scooping it up and pouring it into a flask.
Alright, so you scoop it up and put it into a flask, and have some chunky bits of
Flask of imp ichor.
glass of imp ichor, yes.
Because there is no there's no Alice here, but I would be remiss to not collect some because she will be mad when she gets here and there isn't any left.
You know that level in Mario 64 where you grab Bowser by the tail and then toss him? Right.
Yes.
Well,
Never played it.
I'm doing that with the imps. I'm
Okay.
just spinning in a circle and throwing them over.
Ah, the
Yeah.
hammer throw.
The hammer throwing imps.
Alright, you guys
Okay,
have
while
managed
you
to
do that, as it's sailing through the air, I try and shoot it with the bow.
Thunk. Arrow goes into a corpse as it goes over the side of the ship.
That actually sounds quite fun, and so I think I'd like the third or fourth imp Rowan just like throwing
Ice darts.
throwing ice at them as well. So it's like skeet shooting.
You swing around the last remaining imp. You throw it high in the air because now you guys have gotten into this bit, and the sailors are kind of like watching on, so just slightly enjoying what's happening.
Yeah.
You throw it into the air. You see thump as your arrow goes into the side of it and knocks it, and it goes sideways. And then at the exact same time, you coincide with that particular thump from his arrow. You hear the shoot as the ice hits it, and it bounces back. And you decide for a bit of fun, see if you can get that last shot in. Roll between.
Let's see if I can get better than 3. 8 plus 8. 16.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good shot. You manage to sort of knock it in the head, and it goes spinning as it goes into the water.
Cool.
Then you see a shark come up and take the body.
A shark? What kind of shark? You can't take it back now, Tim. It's in a big one.
He didn't say you saw it.
Roll
And you only saw the shark's
roll a
head.
perception roll.
19!
26 total.
Probably like a tiger shark or something like that.
Sold.
Sold.
It's bigger than.
As a slight aside, I have played human skeet shooting at a pre-company party.
Who was the human?
Yeah, it was at a swimming pool. So
Ah,
someone would run up
okay,
and
yeah,
bomb
yeah,
into the
yeah,
pool,
yeah,
and you had to shoot them with a
Why am
live
I
arrow
not
before
surprised?
they landed.
Why am I not
It was really fun. Got some footage of it on my old phone.
Freako. Goddamn freako.
I just really want my arrows going in the water.
They're IDV arrows, they're rubber sealed.
The fiberglass core, is it?
Nah, look,
It's fiberglass.
I mean, if you just reuse the same arrow, then you minimize damage.
That's true.
But other than that, the sailors scrub down the deck to get rid of the blood. A lot of them patching themselves up. Some of them have not made it. 2 of them have died, and another 2 are really badly wounded, and they've basically been taken down below. Pax did eat half the party, yes. They're all going to rock up at some point in time.
Pax is now leveled up for defeating several level 5 adventurers.
That's a good way of putting it. Pax is leveled up. Alright.
Ooh, when Pax get 2 attacks around, that's going to be ugly.
Has the ship been damaged at all?
Not overly badly. There's a bit of splintering here and there.
But a bunch of scorch marks.
Bunch of scorch marks,
and
yeah.
stuff,
Yeah. There's definitely some repairs going to be needed once they pop into dock, but right now it's okay. Everything seems to be going quite fine.
She's still seaworthy.
Absolutely, especially after the repair job from grounding itself on the weird island from a few episodes ago.
The boob rocks.
There are rocks. One of the sailors comes around and starts asking if you guys are okay. Are you alright? I'm the ship's surgeon, and just want to make sure you're doing alright.
Borderline. You got anything to heal?
Well, I've got my surgery. I can sort of check you out and stitch you up and see, make sure you're not going to bleed out.
As long as you don't touch me. I sit down and
Sure.
go.
Sure.
I'm just picturing him.
This one's kind of dying. I think he's just done for. I got nothing to help him with. Throw him overboard, please.
I gingerly hold out a good berry.
Yeah, that'll do. Eat it.
You regain 1 hit point.
Oh, great.
Did you add a d6 or 2 from the healing totem?
No, I don't think I did.
You said you had like half a minute, so that's 5.
We're just going to add, it went through a few different people, probably used some of the sales and stuff like
I
that.
would have prioritized like
Oh, the actual
blood
dying.
dying. Yeah,
yeah.
it would have just died.
Yeah, it's been used up, but we'll say. And
Your
it's gone
temporary
through.
hit points saved me, though.
Yeah, damn right.
Yeah,
I
good.
love the
Temporary
dead
hit
totem.
points are great.
Yeah.
Although every time you get temporary hit points, they are very temporary.
Yeah, but 10 of them across the entire party.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But you only use that when you're in serious trouble. So they last about 6 seconds.
Alright.
I'll also
The ship
have
starts
a good
getting
berry.
back to normal operations. The 2 bodies of the 2 sailors who have gone down have been covered in cloth, and they've been moved below deck as well.
Do we recognize either of them?
Yeah, you recognize, like you've gotten used to the crew now, you do recognise them. You haven't interacted with them all that much, but you do recognise them.
Do we know their names?
Was
Oh, right.
either of them the one that he beat down in that savage Fight Club fight?
Yes.
Oh.
Do we think he was unable to adequately do his job because he'd been thoroughly stomped?
Well, you don't know that I was even in a fight club. Or do
Yeah.
I know?
Yeah, look, everyone on this particular ship is useful. It's not a huge ship, and its crew is a lot less than a warship or anything in relation to. So, most of the special merchant ships like this, they always make sure that they've got the somewhere between the minimum to medium crew that they need to save money. So you would expect that someone like this, or even these 2 people, will actually make the ship struggle a little bit. You may even realise that you might be called out to sort of take up a couple of the roles.
I'm going to volunteer to go up to the crow's nest and look out if need be.
Up to the crow's nest. Yep. All right. So you're going up to the first mate, I assume, because you're the most likely person to talk. All right. So you want to say you want to be the spotter?
I can be that, yes.
What makes you good at doing that particular job?
If you're not aware of your surroundings in the desert, you are dead. I am not dead.
Roll persuasion.
Woohoo! 24.
Nice.
All right. I think I could use the sailor who's up there to actually do some of the other work. So all right, you can go up there and be the spotter for us. All right. What's your full name? It's Mia.
Amir bin Toran bin Bul.
Amir it is. Alright, done. You're all now on one of the rosters for being a lookout. Probably want to go up there now. If that's right, get yourself acquainted with it. Talk to the other gentleman that is also up there. And he'll just give you a bit of a lowdown on some of the things. Excellent.
Also means that he doesn't have to do, with strength 6, doesn't have to do any sort of job that involves lifting or carrying.
I think as soon as you start lifting something up and realising that you're useless, they'll just go, alright, different job for you. Alright. Anyone else?
I'm not strong. I'm not weak, I'm not strong. I'll volunteer to do what I normally do, which is just play in the water, but actually come back every once in a while and provide information.
Provide.
Like, if I see...
Aquatic recon.
Yes, so like, if we're approaching a reef or low water, I'll just like swim ahead.
That kind of works.
Like,
Yeah, that kind of
jump
works.
back up and inform them before they hit it.
I just drop into stealth before you get reached.
Of course.
I just pictured you in the room, perched above the door, just
Hawkeye.
I know
I'm
I'm sorry.
not helping.
We paid already. I'm not doing their job for them.
I'm also not helping. I'm playing. But it still may be useful.
the trick is to be seen to be helping.
It's just you like up there every 5 minutes going,
Well, they watch me kill things for
and then just
That's better than
reading a book.
a bit of extra
In
muscle.
real life, I've worked in the security industry. I know exactly how that goes.
Well, I mean, like, if we weren't there, more of them probably would have died. So, as far as I'm concerned, we help them.
Alright, it is good to go now. I think we shall travel on our way.
Oh, hello. How are you?
Very good, sir. It's good to see that you are stepping up and helping up the ship.
Would you like a good berry?
Sorry, I just pictured you as the dolphin already, just in the water, just going. Trying to pose on your tail as you're just sort of like coming a half out of the water.
They can do that.
Are you able to half shift? Is that a thing?
No.
It's a full shift only.
That's a third ed ability.
Oh, okay.
Half ship.
Half shift.
Half ship.
Get attributes of animals, but not the full form.
Yeah.
Like a werewolf in a hybrid form.
Right, so just get a bear's arm and punch someone in the face with
Yeah.
a bear's arm while using a sword.
Yeah, can't do that.
That would
And
be fun.
the ship starts sailing on. You feel the sails. There's crew get up and start putting the sails back out. As soon as the first sets of sails start kicking in and they're all released, you hear the whoosh as all of the sails drop down together in one power motion, and then the ship lurch and pick up the wind and then travel along and start moving back towards where you're heading. You are heading, what you believe you're heading north again, because you're starting to get closer to. You're starting to get close to. Where am I going again? Aris, Leonese. What I was trying to remember.
Yes.
You said we'd already entered Middle Sea South.
You haven't entered Middle Sea South, yes.
Okay.
And you are heading on towards Aris. And it is just another uneventful day, other than the storm that came through. A lot of people are talking about, a lot of the sailors sort of like wondering what's going on. Rock perception check.
Nat 1.
Oh, bother.
20.
9.
So 16 plus 4.
During your time here, like you're not always in the water. You come back in sometimes, and you come down, and your ship has been relieved, and you just start listening. Like you guys keep to yourselves most of the time because that's what you paid for. But you talk to or listen on sailors as you're going, and they talk about a few different names that come up. But two of the prominent names is Atua and Kafika. And because of the sailors, they all come from different backgrounds. The correlation between the two is that they are essentially the one and the same, just given different names based on where they're coming from. So some of them would say some call it a tour. The other ones would call it Kafir, which is essentially Stormbringer, or the Stormlord, or the Destroyer. Quite a few different sort of translations of names, and a few different names are also given by some of the English-speaking crew members. They say all the same thing though.
Are they mentioning that as if it is a deity or as if it is a person?
A deity.
Okay.
Sounds a lot like the person who just sent mages and barbarians after
Well, no,
us.
the thing is, if it's the deity, then that would be a priest of the Stormbringer. Or a servant of the Stormbringer.
Or a cleric.
Yes. Like, what I'm saying is yes. Yeah.
They're all servants of.
Not something that we can kill directly yet.
Yeah.
He was very
I'll add that to
powerful.
my list. Other than that, there's a mixture of feelings within the crew. Some of them are like glad that you're here to stop that, because had you not, they would have been a sunk ship and dead. Some of them are sort of like, is it because you're here that this happened? Because everything that's become so far is pointed towards it being an unusual trip. The island and getting sunk, well not sunk, getting grounded on the island. And then the storm coming through. They were a bit suspicious, a bit superstitious. Now that you guys are on board. But other than that, it travels on. The ship starts going into the night time. A lot of the crew head back down to the bottom of the ship and get themselves into the hammocks and start falling asleep. They're at the night watch, and you guys also decide to go into the night and head into your cabins. And various over a small amount of time fall asleep. Amber and the others have been in bed for quite some time because they've been badly hurt. Amber went down during the fight. So did Imperius, I believe. In fact, pretty much most of the team did.
Yeah.
It was quite a battle. Yorlin and Fallout have basically decided to tuck it into the night, mending the wounds.
Yeah.
And getting themselves
We
going.
need to sleep off that exhaustion.
Yes, sleeping off the exhaustion.
I dropped the Chaos Dagger that Yorlin lent me.
Yep.
Next to him, basically right next to his hand while we're sleeping.
Thunk.
Thunk.
No, I didn't throw it, I place it.
Yeah, because if you did throw it, you'd probably get Mary.
And then you all fall asleep at various times of the night. You probably last as the paranoia road. You're always the last one to fall asleep because you always just make sure everyone else is asleep before you are.
Yeah,
I'm just
more or less.
I'm just on the floor, cross-legged with his trance.
Yep.
A couple of glasses of port and then...
Yeah, a bit of port has gone around after that particular encounter.
Any port after a storm.
Any port after a storm, that's right.
Why are you like this?
Cool. Time passes. You sleep. One of you wakes up. Roll me a d20 everyone. Roll me a perception roll actually as well. So.
Perception 18.
Okay, I rolled a 5.
Come on, me too. But I get a +7, so that's a 12.
And I get a +6, so that's 11. But what did you want?
So 18, 12, 11.
18, 12, and 11. Yeah. We've got the 18. For some unknown reason, you wake up during the night from the bell.
Take a piss.
You take this. The bell that rings every hour on the hour. That just single toll. And I wake up at this particular time. Like at the start of the ship, start of the travel, start of the sailing, it was annoying at first, but like everything, you've gotten used to it all. You've gotten used to the sway of the ship. You've gotten used to the bell. You've gotten used to people and their being drunk half the time on the ship and doing nothing. It's almost like you're becoming sailors. this particular night, yeah, you woke up. You woke up and you decided, and you heard the ring, and you weren't expecting that because you've gotten used to it now. You go to the top of the ship and decide to take a pee. Overboard. On the other side of the ship, where you decide to come out and take a pee.
There better not be a dolphin.
It's a kraken. No. There is another crew member who's basically just standing out with one foot up on the railing, and you can tell definitely has a peg leg. And you're pretty sure you've never seen anyone on this ship with a peg leg. But you don't know, because none of you's really talked to the crew that much. But you've been here at sea. Well, it is a different crew.
Well, the surgeon might have got to someone from the fight.
Potentially, yes. Yeah. But it's not something you've seen before till now. And he's got that. He looks human, at least height-wise. You can definitely see grizzly, dark, curly hair and a big, thick beard. And he's definitely got that tricorn sort of hat going. Very, very typically sailor-type garb. And just looking out across the water. The moon is at a half crescent, but it is low along the horizon, and you can see the moon shine across the ocean.
It is a good night for it, isn't it? Then I fart as I'm pissing into the ocean.
I thought your charisma's supposed to be 18.
Yeah.
No pig.
He just woke up.
But I do it with style.
And his farts.
You have no idea of how to fit in with sailors.
That's right, that's how you fit with sailors.
It's like burping after a meal.
How you like? It's definitely a night.
I don't think we have been introduced. I am Amir bin Farhan bin Gur. People call me Amir.
Hi Amir, how you doing?
Fine enough.
A lot of people call me Johnny.
I have not heard of you on the crew. Are you part of the always on the night shift?
I've always been on the night shift. I seem to struggle a little bit in the day. My hands are much better accumulated for the night time.
The crew seems to be a bit subdued after the battle today.
I gotta hope they're sleeping it well. They deserved it after all that. Who's Peter Pumpkin Eater?
Sorry. Right in the middle of the scene, honestly.
Okay, well he's gone.
Roll for initiative.
Oi! Amateurs.
Yeah, so make some small talk with Johnny.
Aye. Seems a bit weird what happened. You probably heard the crew so far.
Are you familiar with the storm things, the Stormbreaker?
I am familiar with the Stormbreaker.
Is it just a story, a tale, or is it something to be believed in?
I've heard of it before. If you've been a sailor long enough, it's one of those stories that always gets travelled about. It's always about a group of people or a thing. It changes from time to time, of course. You hop on a different crew. Ta-da! You hop on a different crew of a ship, and yeah, you get a different story. It's twisted, of course. Could either be a group of people or a single entity. It could be elementals. The only probably real common thing about it is the storm.
Okay.
Sorry, but there's been other things. There's been other things that have been happening. I originally come from the port that we stopped off in, Eastcliff. I've been sailing on other ships leading up to coming to Eastcliff.
Sorry guys, so unprofessional.
So how's Peter?
Is it on silent?
We were still busy. So
It's like you've been at PAX or something.
I wonder.
Oh, yeah.
We did get to
Enjoy.
I'm good, thank I paid so much for that.
Of course.
We did get some new toys.
We're saving them for later.
He's come from a different ship, and I heard some other stories of things that have been happening.
Is it like the you always have a friend of a friend who has met the mermaid?
It is a bit like that. There is now a person at the top screen.
I feel very alone.
Where? Actually, you probably get you to move over just a couple of inches to your left.
Scented.
So you're being seen.
Right.
I
So
do.
that- I might have to change the camera around a little bit later, but anyway. Thanks for interrupting the scene, by the way.
Right.
You have moved back in?
I was pretty much done. I was going to head back downstairs.
That's enough to clean the dice.
You're all asleep, by the way.
I figured as much because we've just been through a battle and almost got killed by a bunch of barbarians and stupid sorcerers and that
That's right.
motherfucking cleric in the clouds.
Mm-hmm.
This one, he wants to know what we got from the barbarians, and I said 3 swords and 3 loincloths.
3 swords and 3 what?
Loincloths.
Loincloths.
Also, we decided to like hammer throw the imps off into the ocean, so we started using them as like a
Ski tube.
Yeah.
I heard there was a tiger shark.
There was a tiger shark, yes.
Agreed.
So yes, then head back.
Yep, you head back. Alright. You head back in, and you go back down to sleep. You two can roll perception checks for me.
6. I was very tired after that fight with the barbarians and
I was
being
very
knocked out
good.
once. I'm trying to get rid of that one level of fatigue that I ended up with.
I was going to dig.
Did you die like 3 times?
You had 2 levels
What?
of fatigue.
Okay, so you had 2 levels of fatigue. So he's trying to get rid of those. But I'm trying to get rid of the... So... But yes. Anyway. That's my book. Page. Good.
Well, I rolled the next highest perception on 12. If that matters.
Alright. Can you all roll a d20 for me? Just a d20. That's all it is. Nothing more than that.
10.
That's a 14.
12.
3.
15.
I'm going to skip the 15 and go to the 14. Because you've already had your secret. We've got 14, sorry?
I did.
You wake up during the night from the creaking of the ship. Something that you wouldn't have expected before because you've gotten used to the ship now. You've gotten used to, as I said before, the bell that goes every hour from the night ship. You manage to sleep through that now. The creaking of the ship, you sleep through now. The swaying, you've gotten used to, you sleep through that now.
Still don't like it though.
You don't like it,
Not
but
as
you've
solid
gotten
as
used to
stone.
it. But this time you wake up. And it perturbs you a little bit. Because you didn't expect it. Who's got phones on?
By the way, you find your dagger back next to you.
Yes, your dagger is back next to you, placed next to you.
Okay. I pop that in my belt.
You pick it up, and you notice that the symbol is glowing.
I've never done that before.
The chaos symbol?
It's not bright, but it's not dark like it normally is anymore.
It makes me weary, so I will don my armor before I.
10 minutes later.
Actually, no. I grab my long sword, put the dagger in my belt, keep an eye on it just in case it changes again. But I grab my long sword and walk around the ship.
Okay.
I just go looking for something out of place.
Can Dragonwood do that? Like keep one eye down while the other one looks around?
No.
Oh,
I
they
literally
like
have to go
comedians?
like this.
You get up, you come out of the back part of the ship, and you head up on top, or are you going to go down below first?
I'll head up on top just to see if there's anything in the surrounding area of the ship.
You head up top. It's pretty empty. There's no one around except the one particular sailor who's standing with his one of his legs up on top of the railing on the side, looking out to sea. He's looking at the moon, and the moon seems to be low on the horizon, so you can see it reflect down the still waters. The ship's not going particularly fast at the moment, but it is moving. You hear the fluttering of the sails as the wind dies a little bit, and it flutters, and then picks up again.
I go to the sailor and ask if has anything been moving around tonight?
Just the ship, lad.
I just sort of nod at him and head back below deck.
You alright, lad? I heard you have a bit of a turn.
Feeling better now.
Good then. Sleep well then.
You too. I head back below deck and just start looking around below deck for anything out of place.
Roll me an insight roll.
Inside? Mm-hmm. This isn't going to do well for me either. And that 20.
You turn away from the sailor, and you start heading towards back down into the cabin. Then something twigged at your brain, because you barely have talked to any of the crew members, and you now realise that that particular crew member you just talked to, you've never seen before. He has a peg leg, and you've never seen anyone with a peg leg.
Someone on the ship that's not meant to be on the ship. I go and find Rayleigh.
Okay, you find Rayleigh.
I check my leg.
He doesn't wake.
Is there any water or like buckets of water?
No, if I don't wake, that is bizarre for me.
I know. There's something wrong here. I go grab a bucket of water and throw it on him.
The water or the bucket?
Yes.
A little from column A, a little
Yes.
from column B.
There's no bucket of water in the immediate vicinity of your cabin.
Okay.
There's a chamber pot.
Oh, a chamber pot on him. That would just be rude.
There are buckets of water out on deck or just out in the hallway, but just not in the room.
I go out into the hallway, retrieve a bucket of water.
Roll perception roll for me.
10.
10. You go to the bucket of water that's in the hallway. It's full of salt water, but that's what they use just in case you need a bucket of water or something like that you don't drink from. You go down, pick it up, and you catch a sniff of something that is very familiar to you, but you weren't expecting it. It's smoke.
Wood smoke? Paper
Wood
smoke?
smoke.
Cigar smoke?
Wood smoke.
Dragon smoke.
Can I tell which direction the smoke is coming from?
It's coming from outside into the main area, so you think it's coming from through the doorway into the hall that you're in currently.
I'll go follow the smoke looking for fire with the bucket. I found something more important to throw the bucket on. If the ship is on fire, it needs to be stopped.
Just make sure you don't mix up your order of actions. Throw Rayleigh on fire. No, that's not the
You open the door to the central part of the ship. That's where they store a lot of the boxes and stuff like that. And you start smelling the smell quite a lot more, but you're smelling it from above.
So it's on top deck. I rush to the top deck again.
You rush to the top deck. You go up the stairs from the bottom to the top deck. Lift open the trapdoor, for lack of a better word, so the wood thing that closes. The hatch, that's the word I'm looking for. You open up the hatch. As soon as you do that, the whole place is on fire. You are seeing fire everywhere. Roll perception roll. Two.
Technically to be a 3. Sorry, not much better.
You are seeing, you look up and you realise that the whole place
You
is on
see
fire.
orange.
You see orange, you do. You see a set of beams up ahead, above you, become that like bright orange from being on fire for so long. You can see the flicks of flame coming through as it's separated into smaller chunks of figures. Still standing up there, it's still there, but you know, give it another few moments, it's just going to come crumbling down from the fact that the fire is burning away through the support beams up top.
I dive out of the way of where I would imagine the beam would fall.
Yep, you dive, you head to the right, you smack into a wall. The wall, you feel the heat from the other side of the wall, but the wall itself is currently intact. It feels like it's probably burning on the other side and won't take too long to burn through here. But in doing so, jumping to the side like you have, that beam that's on fire cracks. You hear the snap, and you hear the crumbling of all of the wood and the roof and the shingles come down into the area where you are. Roll me an insight check.
Yep. New dice as well.
Fancy dice.
You realise it's not the dice, it's just you.
Yeah, I know.
We've known this for a long time.
Yeah, we have.
I don't have the technique.
The wood beam of wood has fallen. You hear the crunch and the sound, and the fire is still raging. However, you can now see out into the night side, into the night. Something about all this whole scene is very familiar to you, but you can't quite put your finger on it. It's you rolling shit.
I get where this train goes. But.
I've got a question. Do you still have your bucket?
I would have dropped it when I dove to clear the thing. Is there a door?
There is a
in
door.
the room?
Yes.
I rush for the door.
You go for the door. You open up the door and you see a whole heap of other buildings. And there are particular fires going around. You're now focusing away from the current situation in the building itself, burning. You can focus on what's happening in the scene itself a bit more. You see amber off in the distance. You probably think maybe 50, 60 feet. Facing off against two, you think, cultists. But they have this glow in their eyes and slight reddish skin. But they have robes on as well. This is all becoming very familiar to you now. As you start thinking about this whole scenario, Amber is cut down.
Looking at the buildings, I recognize them. Their architecture, per se.
Yep. This is your village.
I draw my sword and charge the nearest cultist.
You start running towards the nearest cultist. You're in an open area at this stage, and none of the cultists are here currently, so you have to travel a reasonable distance to get there. Halfway through the courtyard that you're traveling, or the area that you're traveling through, you see someone else come out from around another alleyway. It's Rowan.
Oh, I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
How did I get here?
You've always been here.
Oh my god, and now it's on fire?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, now
Is
it's on fire.
Rowan wearing the cultist robes?
No, Rowan is Rowan.
That's not okay. Well, things are on fire. Tidal wave?
You cast a tidal wave and you put out one of the fires in the buildings that are closest to you.
Okay. I'm panicked
Mm-hmm.
because it's fire. And fire is not okay, but I've made myself a nice dry spot.
You have.
I'm gonna go inside and curl up in the fetal position.
A nice dry spot. Fire likes dry
I
spots.
just run to a building, put the water out, and ran inside to hide.
Actually, be great because if the water's actually coming into the building, you'd have a nice sauna going on.
You race towards the group of cultists that had down Amber.
Yeah.
You step over the top of Amber's body and you start hacking at the two cultists. The swords clash. You hear the twang, the twang of an arrow go into the side of one of the actual cultists. The cultist looks around at the angle that the arrow came from and comes from a roof. One of the very few roofs that are not on fire currently. And you see Amir up on the roof. You finish off, as you look at towards the Amir, you hack down the last cultist that's in front of you out of the two. So Amir took out one and you took out the other.
I check for Amber and she's
Gone.
gone. I shouted at Amir, what's going on here? Where is everyone?
It is an attack. You need to move and fight.
Where are the other cultists? Is there anything else here?
There are lots of cultists. You just best start looking around and there's heaps of them around.
There was a big one over east.
I start heading east. And cleaving cultists so that I go.
Yep.
If I hear a minute, I'll just like poke my head up out through like a scorched window. And feel like I like him, and just rush to him, just like haphazardly shooting eyes from my hands as I go.
Yeah, you're right. Trying to put fires out. The fires are very intense, so you're struggling to sort of, all you're managing to do with what you're doing is just keeping it at bay, allowing you to get to places you need to get to. You're not putting fires out.
That'll do.
You start racing towards east, towards where the big one was apparently. You get halfway through the village, and you see your father.
I stop in my tracks and scream father and running at him.
Son, are you okay?
Yes. And I like brandish my sword and like run to his side to help fight off any cultists that come near him.
Excellent. We shall take these on. When they come, I think they're immune to fire. I've tried to burn them down and they have not been affected. Look, beyond that wall, we have another half a dozen of them coming. Prepare yourself, son.
Get in a fighting stance.
You and your father side by side are in a fighting stance. You face off the 6 cultists who are coming down the alleyway or the street. You look at each other just very briefly. Quick nod. You've done this thing before. This is not new to you. The first cultist comes in and you swing your sword very quickly. Roll a 20. Roll attack.
20.
You hit the cultist. The cultist reels from your attack. The cultist tries to get back up and retaliate against you, but you just step aside from his overhead swing. Your father comes in for another swing against the other cultist, and you see his blade cut deep into the arm of this particular cultist. The cultist reels back, holding its wound that just took from your father. He tries to come in and stabs with a dagger at your father, and father just purposely brushes it off with his breastplate. You two are not struggling against these cultists too much, and you are hacking them and cutting them down as they're going. But realizing after you kill about 4 of them together, you should be only have 2 left, but you're seeing that there's now another 5 of them who have joined into the fight. It appears that they're trying to overwhelm you, which you remember this happening.
I shout, we must withdraw. We need to get to a better defensible position.
Agreed. You two start backing off slowly to get yourselves into a better position. you come into an open area between a whole heap of the houses that are on fire, and you get yourself into a position. You try to look around for a better position, actually, in this particular area. You remember this place very well. Cultists come from behind you now, and they also come from the sides, and there is a lot of them. All of them have that telltale red skin and the glowing golden eyes. You remember this very well.
Can I jump in with a little narrative bit?
Yeah.
You see Amir up on one of the roofs calling out, "I can save one of you. I can help one of you escape. You must decide."
I was carrying behind you.
I just scream, "Save my father. Leave me." And I just...
Go, son. I've been this long enough. It is your time. Carry on the name of the family.
I can't, not again.
You must. Mother died many years ago. But we're not going to have the whole family just sit here out of stubbornness and die as he swings and chops the head off of another cultist that gets too close. Get out now!
I can't. I just keep fighting.
Who are you?
We're his friends.
Get him out!
Rowan, riding lizard.
It takes longer than it should. Like it's not
Start
like just
shooting
like
the ones
that.
behind you.
He's
to give
like
you an exit
he's like
out.
Boom.
You're looking around and you're attacking cultists as they're coming through. You feel one stab you in the arm with a spear, and you feel the pain of that coming to you. As you look around and look at your father another time, just make sure he's okay, and then he does the same to you every once in a while. He's got a slash across his face now. It's quite profuse and blood's coming down his cheek. You can definitely see blood pooling in the elbow joint there. So obviously someone's got in between the armor plates and stabbed in there too. He's not looking as good as he could be, and you know this is not going very well. And they seem to be coming, quite a lot of them. Something far more greater than you would expect to have come this particular night to take out your village. And it doesn't make sense that they would do such a thing, but they have. Get him out!
I run up behind him and basically drop my head low, put it in between his legs and then lift up so that he kind of hops up and lands on my back, and then like I'll try my best to like keep him on and scoot
That's
on.
what you will attempt to do.
Yeah.
You want to do.
That's my play.
I'm starting to bleed profusely. Yes.
Not profusely, but with blood from wounds.
I like try to just roll off him and get back into the fight.
Okay. Roll an athletics roll.
It's a 1.
I rolled a natural 20.
I was staying on that.
That was actually your father. Basically, as you're trying to roll back off the list, your father basically comes over, grabs you, and then shoves you back on the riding lizard and says, "Family, keep the name. I'll be fine. Just get out of here." You know he's just being stubborn. You know exactly what happens to him here. You've seen this all before. It's almost the same, except you have other party members also involved, which is a bit weird. But nonetheless, you do remember your father shoving you out into someone else's escape plan. Not specifically this one, but you were shoved out. And you do remember your father not coming back from this.
I continue trying to get back into the fight.
I roll a natural 20, man. You'll be staying on that particular thing.
Sorry, but Drama is hooked into the scales of the riding lizard yet?
I just roar, releasing a jet of flame into the sky.
That's not helping.
Sure it does. Makes you
Panic
panic,
bolt.
and then you...
Yeah.
You put the
The
flame
riding
into
the riding
back.
lizard from Rowan moves off, travels a bit through the crowds, dodging a few cultists here and there. You want to get off and go help your father and try and save him. You know this, but at the same time, you've now gotten further away enough that getting back to him is going to be very difficult, if not suicidal. And you're currently just slashing at cultists as they're coming through. You turn back with the notion of, I'm just going to get off this and just go back and carve my way through if I can. So you turn around to go towards where your father is, and you see a big creature. It's like a humanoid, but about 12, 14 feet tall. Hooves for its feet, horns coming out, eyes of fire, smoke and cinder coming from its mouth. A sword so large, almost twice the size of you yourself. Flames coming off the edges, molten hot at the tip, comes and strikes at your father, cleaving right into his shoulder and cutting a foot in, separating his left arm from his body. That's exactly how you remember it.
I just go into a state of shock. Like, basically just not even fighting, I've like dropped my sword, I'm just being like taken where I'm being taken. Keep running.
Keep running.
Just keep running. Away from the fire, this is horrible.
And you guys all run off in the distance, past the village. You try and save a few people on your way, and you get a small group of others who also come with you, which you also remember. Half a dozen of you manage to sort of make it out in your group, at least that you know of. Beyond that, you're not sure. After a few hours of travelling, you decide to stop for a moment just to sort of give yourselves a breather, figure out where you are, and figure out what your next move is. You all talk together.
I'm not talking. I'm literally like just sitting on the ground and just replaying everything through my head again.
And you disappear. And you two disappear.
Oh, okay.
What was the next number after the 14? 12, I think, wasn't it?
I got to
You got a 12.
I'm with 10, you're 3?
Yes.
You wake up somewhere through the night and you hear a bell ring. You're used to the bells ringing. You've gotten used to this. You've been on this ship for so long now.
You wake up to the bomb.
You wake up to the bomb.
Instead of being, it didn't go being.
You didn't go ping, it went bomb.
It's like living in Frankston.
I do not know what this Afghanistan is, I'm sorry.
Afghanistan?
Afghanistan.
Right.
Afghanistan? Hey, I lived in Frankston. And everything is true.
Oh, God.
Well, yes, I wake up. Something is amiss because I'm awake and it's a ship,
Yes.
not a burning house.
It is a ship. It is your same place you've always lived in for the last few months.
My very boring temporary home. I feel all my body parts. Yes, they are all still there
Mm-hmm.
this time.
Yep. Yeah, nothing spectacular was happening, but you woke up for some reason. Which is just perturbs you a little bit. You just get up and decide to go pee somewhere.
There is only one place to pee. It is up the side.
Yeah, pretty much.
We leave a step ladder near one part of the railing for him.
No. I have to jump up on the railing and like, you know, make my way up the ropes to go up, you know, and then pee. Get good arc.
Wow.
Obviously, I have thought about this too much.
You've probably done this too many times that you have thought about it too much.
You get up to the top of the ship and go to the railing and do your pee of arcness. You aim quite well.
It is his Arc de Triomphe.
That's good aiming, lad, for a small wee one. Says a gentleman who's on the other railing on the other side. He yells it across the ship.
Yes. We know you're weird.
You see a sailor. He's got his foot up on the railing. He's He's looking out across the water, across the moon. It's near the horizon, and the moon's shining across the somewhat still waters. He's got a peg leg. That's up actually on the railing itself.
My friend, what happened to your leg? Tell me its story.
My leg was one of the fight things that happened at probably 6 years ago now. Our ship got captured by pirates, and they jumped on board, and there was a bit of a tussle happened. And unfortunately, in that particular tussle, I lost my leg. Well, I didn't cut it off, but it was badly wounded. And the ship surgeon basically had to make the decision to cut my leg off. And in doing so, of course, I got myself a peg leg.
Does it pain you? Is that why you left on the railing?
Aye, it does, lad. It pains me quite profusely. You'll get used to it after a while. There's not much I can do about it. But it does help to rest it every once in a while.
There are places of healing, temples in the city. Sometimes they can perform restoration kind of rites of magic.
They can, but it costs a bit of an arm and a leg if you want me.
Why not sacrifice an arm for a leg? I don't see the problem.
Unfortunately, the money they charge for such a thing is quite high, and I usually, by the time I've gotten to shore and being paid up, I've usually drunk it the next time.
Scottish.
It's just what happens.
It
It doesn't fail me all that much. It's just that every once in a while, I wanted to know that it gets to me.
Look, my other suggestion is you do not ride on a dolphin.
Well, I'm sure. Going to American.
I'm sure that's a great idea.
I'm sure that's not a great idea.
You do not want to get stuck in the what's that hole on the top? Yes, that would be most unpleasant, I think.
So, lad, who are you?
My name is Antoine. I've been on this ship for some months now with my companions. It is very depressing. Just miles and miles of ocean. There is no forest. There is no towns. Just water. Occasionally there is crabs.
Aye. Sounds like freedom to me. Freedom, Willie.
That sounds like freedom.
The open
I
seas,
don't
my
understand you.
friend. That's the open seas, my friend. You don't have lawmakers coming in trying to dictate what you can and cannot do.
Hold on me 1 second. Where is the other member of the watch?
Aye, he's probably up there on the crow's nest having a look.
Okay. What time is it?
It's about 2 a.m.
Okay. I've done my pee. Wait, I've done my pee. I've done my pee, and I think I shall go back to bed.
Aye, good idea. Get yourself some rest. You went down in that fight a couple of times, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, there was the time I went down, the time I got up, and the time I was pushed down, and then I went down again. Oh, I think. I cannot quite remember. It was a confusing time.
You head back to bed, and your evening was uneventful. Really?
I wake up. Alright.
No, it is being me.
Sorry, I'm just. Okay. Well, the first thing I do is cut a bit of the bed cloth out and start wrapping it around my arm that is bleeding profusely still.
It needs changing. It's not bleeding profusely, but it does need to be changed.
It's weeping instead.
Your blood tastes like good berries.
Delicious.
But immediate paranoia sets in. Like, I've just been woken up. Usually I sleep lightly, yes, but if I'm woken up, there's a reason for it.
Yeah, of course there is. But
So
it's all quiet at the moment. You're hearing the lull of the ship as it swing as it goes up and down the way.
As it glides through
As
the
it glides
ocean,
through
like
the
about
ocean,
2 or
you
3
hear
knots.
every once in a while a splash as it crests over a wave.
In case you, as it's a dolphin.
That's
The-
it.
All things that you've gotten used to now, and you've managed to sleep through, and there's been background noise. So it is a bit strange that you've had to wake up all of a sudden. It's not the first time it's happened, and you've gotten used to the fact that you just haven't got used to the ship itself. So it's more of a case of you've woken up this particular time because the ship has done something that you thought you've gotten used to.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna pick up my dagger and
Your dagger? Yep.
yeah, the ornate one. And yeah, actually, because I don't usually wake up, I'm gonna pick up the chaos dagger as well. So even though I've left it originally with you, is it still there? Or
Yeah, it's still there.
okay, I'll
You
grab
go to
it.
reach for it and you realise that the symbol on it is glowing.
Alright. Immediate insight check on that. Like, why would it be doing that? 21.
21? It's a glowing symbol on the dagger that's something you've never seen before.
I'm not touching it.
I expect that.
You're using insight in a very strange way.
Oh,
I think he's using insight for gut instinct.
Okay.
Really? Really?
okay, I'm gonna take a
Roll a perception roll.
Yeah.
That was me.
17.
That's the voice of your mother.
Okay, now I'm gonna grab the dagger anyway.
The chaos dagger?
Extra weapon. Yeah, I'm gonna pick it up. And I think I have enough forethought to know she's not gonna be on this ship. So I'm gonna kick the dragonborn in the ribs and try and wake him up.
You wake up the dragonborn.
Get up.
What?
Get up.
You had just finished your particular dream when he wakes you up.
Oh, okay then.
Get up. Something's not right. Look at your
There's
dagger.
lots of things that's not
Look at your
right.
dagger.
It's normal, nothing wrong with it.
I heard my mother. My mother is not on this ship.
Really? You hear it too. Come down for dinner!
I don't think there's any women on this ship.
Except Amber.
Except the door.
That's what they said.
The point is, that's not right.
I sort of just roll out and grab my sword and my shield because something's not right here. So I'm like, I'm very wary of everything that I'm seeing.
Do I notice? Yeah. So, have you experienced anything weird as well?
I've just had memories that weren't quite right.
You know, flashback to man.
Basically.
Right.
I just have to watch the entire butchering of my entire village again.
You get the others.
I walk to the next room and basically just open the door and
Okay. Who's in this room with you guys currently?
no one, I think we sort of
It's just
we
us.
told
in
him
that
to piss
room.
off.
I know, but there is 7 of you, so there's only 4.
I'd be Nick's character then.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so there's-
I don't use a bunk though.
Meanwhile, I've dropped into stealth because if I'm hearing Mother's voice, I don't know if he's real. So I'm just about ready to shake
you
him
can
as
hide
well.
from him in a bunker room.
That's why I've immediately told him to get the others and I'm moving away. So I'm immediately leaving.
You open up the door to your cabin that currently you're in to go into the hallway, so you can cross the hallway to go to the door of the other cabin. As soon as you open up the door into the hallway, you don't see the hallway. You see a kitchen. You see a table in the middle of it with a whole heap of pots and pans and different foods and stuff like that. You see a window going out into the night beyond that. And you see a lady with her back to you She goes, "Oh, really? Is that you? Have you come for dinner now?" She turns around and there's this human there. "Oh, you're not really? Oh, really? Come."
Really? There's something wrong here. I can't get the others.
Okay, I walk over to the door and just pause for a second.
"Really? Come, sit, eat. You haven't eaten in weeks. Where have you been?"
1 second, mother. Come with me. And I take a step back and just say, give me your hand. And I'm actually going to pull out my dagger, cut my hand. Do I feel it?
Yep.
Is it bleeding?
Yep.
Taste the blood? Does it taste
It
different?
tastes like blood.
Cut his hand? Is it bleeding?
It's bleeding.
I shout out and I slap him.
That's real too.
So you've now got a blood.
You've got a bloody dragon handprint on your face.
Fucking idiot. There's obviously something wrong. Just pause for a second and let me figure this out.
No.
Just get your armor on. And I walk into the kitchen. Hello, mother.
Oh, really? How you doing?
I'm good. Why are you here?
I'm cooking dinner for you.
I see.
Something she actually doesn't do on a regular basis for you.
Yeah. Why are you cooking?
Well, a particular gentleman has given me some good money. You know what that means. And I figured that I should, make up for some of the stuff that's happened.
Fair enough. I walk past her and stare out the window.
It is the city that you've been so used to. You see the familiar buildings across the road, the mud brick houses with amongst the wooden frame lattice works. You see the dirt street that's covered in mud. You see this misty rain coming down outside of the window. These are all things you're very used to and very familiar with. This is where you grew up.
Can I just take a perception check out the window and the
Roll a
entire
perception
house?
check. Both of you guys roll a perception check.
21.
21.
Natural 20.
Natural 20?
Natural 20.
Natural 20. You both, but you get it in different parts. So you're looking out the window and you're still roughly at the door looking into the kitchen. And you kind of like just scanning the room, looking in the kitchen, and in the corner of your eye, you're pretty sure you saw a couple of beady little eyes disappear before you got a good look at it. Same with you. But yours is more out in the street.
Yep. Okay. I'm immediately going to walk backwards, sit down at the table, and I'm basically going to point at you and point at the seat directly opposite me, so watch my back.
How close were the eyes to that seat that I saw?
Not very close.
I keep an eye on.
It's kind of like you saw the eyes probably along the beam work across the top corner of the roof.
Okay, so I'm literally like just looking at the roof.
Yep.
While I walk over and just sort of like sit down, and I just keep looking at that spot and around that spot.
Where's your friend, really?
You saw that too, didn't you?
Just nod and not talk. I just keep looking.
Who's your friend, really?
I'm just ignoring her. Something's not right.
Really? Is it that impolite that I don't get to know who your friend is?
My name is
Riley!
I turn and draw a dagger. At this
Riley,
point,
who's your friend?
you ready? There's something here. I stab her.
Ah, Riley, what are you doing? You stab her. The knife goes into her belly. Her dress, who's a bit wide, the pooling of blood comes around. And she looks at you in disbelief.
Yep.
She shrinks into this little girl. And you recognize that little girl.
I pull the dagger out.
The girl falls. She's now a little girl. She probably would be 5 or 6, give or take, and bleeding from the knife wound that he just put into her. And she falls over and just like got this look of disbelief in her eyes.
I killed her.
What are you?
And the body just goes unconscious.
I killed her years ago. That was the first person I killed. Not my mother, that little girl.
Why would you kill a little girl?
I was young as well. She stole something from me.
So you killed her.
I was 6.
You humans are strange.
Perhaps, but the point is this is not right. That was not my mother, and that was not the little girl. So what is it?
Whatever it is, it's watching us.
I start just running my dagger along the wall. Just
Feels like a dagger running across the wooden wall.
is it? Does everything seem relatively mundane?
Yes.
If I'm pressing up against it.
You touch a couple of the ceramic bowls, they feel like ceramic bowls. You touch some of the wooden tankards in the area, they feel like wooden tankards. You touch some of the wooden forks, they feel like wooden forks, so on and so forth. The cast iron utensils used for cutting food with all feel like cast iron utensils.
Yep. I'm going to use eye for detail.
Yep.
To make an investigation check. To clues and things like that.
Yep.
So 22.
Eye for detail.
Yeah. So it's basically. Oh, it just means it's a bonus action. So.
Yep. Roll an attack roll.
With a dagger, that's 20.
You look around and you're exploring the area you're in, the kitchen area. And you look up, look down, you look around, and you see another one of those set of eyes. But this time you were aware that you may see it again. And so your immediately reaction is to throw your dagger into the general area where this happens. For the briefest moment, and you both notice this, the room feels like it parallaxed. Everything just shifted ever so briefly into a more mundane shape, and then shift back into their normal object. So a mug became more of a cylinder with a rectangular handle for the briefest of moment.
So it basically buffered them.
Yes.
There was a glitch in the Matrix.
Alright. I go and pick up my dagger and just slowly step backwards. Put your back to me.
I keep an eye out for those, and the next time I see those eyes,
Yeah.
I'm using flame breath.
Yeah, basically the same.
Oh, yeah.
Flame breath also.
Wait. Hold on a second. We're still on the ship.
Yes.
Don't use your fire.
We're in a dream.
Doesn't matter. This is an illusion. This is not a dream, or we're not in it. We may be in a different plane, or we may still be on a ship.
If this is the same thing that happened to me before, the ship would already be on fire.
Do you know that was even fire?
No, I breathed fire when it happened before.
Where?
Up.
I look out onto the street and open the door and step out onto it and look at the closest thing that I can climb or look
You
up.
open the door from the back part of the kitchen that goes to the outside street, the street you've always known and the back door you've always known. And you end up inside the ship's central area.
Yeah. Let's head to the
You
upper
look,
deck.
as soon as you look back telling what's going on, and you notice it straight away, as soon as he opens up the door, you're in the hallway of the ship.
Yeah.
Something's on the ship and it's playing with us.
No fire. Whatever you do, no fire. Let's head up. I'm not going to bother with the other ones because at this point, I think, as a warlock, you might already be doing
part of this.
So I'm just gonna head.
I'm not going to say that part.
I'm just gonna start heading up
So you're going to start heading up to the top of the ship.
to the deck.
Alright. I'm going to leave that here for the briefest of the moment and go for a half a break.
Yep.
Because I need to go to the toilet.
What's that? You wish to pee?
I wish to pee.
The correct answer is you wish to be.
Wait.
No, that's
So we're going to have a quick break and then we'll be back.